Okay, welcome students. In this class I'm going to talk about two-phase method. We have already discussed about graphical method and the simplex method and big M method. Now comes two-phase method. The algorithms are like this. In the two-phase method, the first step is first phase. What is the first phase? Step number 1 says that we have to replace the original objective function by some of the artificial variables. That means we should not take the given original objective function. Instead, we have to take the sum of artificial variables as the objective function. The second step is that we have to minimize the above function. Above function means the objective function with the same constraints. Okay, so we should not change the constraints, but we have to take the same constraints, and our aim is to minimize the new function, that is sum of the artificial variables. Right, if that is the case, then two things occurs. The first one is that minimum z equals 0 and no artificial variables occurs in the basic. If minimum is a 0 and no artificial variable occurs in the basic, then we have to go to phase 2. We have to go to phase 2 when the minimum z equals 0 and no artificial variable in the basic column. Then we have to go to phase 2. On the other hand, suppose that minimum z is greater than or equals 0, minimum z greater than or is equal to 0 with artificial variable as basic in the basic columns, then no solution occurs, no feasible solution occurs. Remember this, minimum z must be greater than or equal to 0 with artificial variable as basic, then there is no feasible solution. So this is very important step, and afterwards we cannot get the solution. Now if minimum z equals 0 and no artificial variable occurs in the basic, then we have to go to phase 2. What is phase 2? Now the phase 2 is that that is step number 5. We have to get the solution by replacing the objective function by maximum z. We have to bring the original objective function here, okay, and then for this new objective function we have to find out the maximum z, the solution set, and the optimum solution we will get at this stage. Okay, this is the way that we can do what is called two-phase method. Okay, so this is what two-phase method. In the next class I will take one problem and I will explain you everything. Okay, so thank you.